for something here. Okay. Perfect. Okay. My name is Ren Pavich, HVACR Tech. My channel is HVACR Tech. I got some videos on business and field repairs that I do day to day after I sold my business. So I'm making this video so we can kind of understand a little bit more about women in the trade and what it's like for the women, and try and get in their perspective on some of the things that they see. I got two guests here tonight, Jessica Egan, and I can't never pronounce that last part. Is it HVAC Techet?
Techet.
Techet. Okay.
My first dispatcher called me that.
So first thing I like to do, I appreciate you guys both taking the time out of your day to do this. If maybe we could start with Jessica, and just if you could give us a little bit of your background, Jessica, and tell the women out there what it is, or where you were, and like what brought you into the trade, if you don't mind.
So I am a maintenance technician. That's what I do. 7 maintenances a day, 5 days a week.
How many?
A lot. 7 a day.
Wow.
Yeah, we're busy.
Is that a lot? Is that like an 8-hour day?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got over 9 today.
And what kind of units is it? Is it heat pumps or gas units?
We do mostly heat pumps, but I've got package units. I've got some furnaces. We're in I do residential, and it's a very large retirement community of like 250,000 people.
Wow. What would when you say you did 9 today?
9 hours.
Oh, 9 hours. How many visits was that? Do you remember?
I had 7 calls.
Okay, so I ran my own business, Jessica, and I sometimes would have trouble getting grown men to do 4 to 5 calls. What's your secret?
It's my job.
I understand. We all have
just
jobs.
Do it.
So are you saying that there's
you have a good work ethic? You have to find someone with good work ethic.
Well, are there more of you guys out there? Because when I was in business, I had a hard time finding guys that could do that kind of work.
Well, that's just what they schedule me, and I go as my schedule tells me to. Just dispatch to the next one and keep going.
Okay, and how about you down there? How what did you do today? Or first of all, let's back up. Can you give us a little bit about your background?
Well, I started in the trade itself probably about 8-9 years ago. I started in the office as customer service, and I worked in the office for 5 years doing customer service, dispatch, credit, pretty much all the stuff you can do in the office. And I got bored. It was an oil company, and I started riding on the truck with drivers and pulling the hose in my spare time and helping on the oil truck. And then the opportunity arose for me to learn field work. And now it's been about 3.5 years in the field, and I am a residential service tech.
Wow, that's quite a lot. I don't even work on any oil. I probably could, but I don't have the experience. So that's great. What would and this question, I'm going to start with Jessica. What kind of prompted you to get in the trade? Was there something specific about it that really kind of interested you to do it? I mean, here's the deal. Everybody's got to have a job and make money. But aside from that, was there something else?
Well, we talked earlier, I really enjoy the company. My husband's been working for this company for just over 6 years, and I wanted to get into the company. And the whole time we've been married, he's been HVAC tech. He's a service tech. So I interviewed for both a maintenance position and office position. And they asked me which one I'd rather do. I'd spent 2 years walking 5 to 15 miles a day in the Florida heat. And so I thought, office sounds nice. Climate controlled building would be a nice change. Um, but I would get bored. I don't think I could handle it after being outside for 2 years straight. So they kind of put me in the maintenance position, and I don't regret it a bit.
Hey, quick question. I just thought of this, and I'm kind of like ADD. Do either you know how to change your own tire if it got flat?
Of course.
I've changed friends' tires, yeah.
Okay, just that was something I was thinking about because there's a lot of guys out there in skinny jeans maybe watching this that are like 22 years old that can't do that. So, and then if you could answer the same question that I just asked Jessica, I'd appreciate it.
As far as interest goes, I got roped into the company I started working at by a friend. I needed a big girl job. And so I applied there and I fell in love with the trade while I was working in the office. The assistant service manager, I was taking phone calls for customer service and I'd talk to customers and have no idea what I really was talking about. So I asked my assistant service manager for information about generic calls and equipment and stuff just so I could read up. And it was funny because the note that they put on the list of stuff they gave me said, "This does not make you a service tech." And so a few years later, just kind of hopped on over.
Nice. Now, here's another question, and whoever wants to answer first would be fine. You guys have any preferences on tools?
My tools.
Yeah.
I like working out of my tool bag with my tools and not anyone else's because I know where my stuff is. But
And Jessica?
as far as brands go, as long as it works, not really.
Yeah, I'm not a big brand person, although I've got my eye on the field piece probes.
Yeah, those are nice. I don't have those yet. I've got some digital gauges, but I'm not a boomer, but I'm kind of a little old school, I guess. I'm still analog for the most part.
That's all I have right now is my analog gauges.
Yeah, I have analog.
My husband has a set of digital gauges he said he'd give to me. And I said, I want at least a year. I want to earn my stripes. I don't want to get this stuff just because my husband gives it to me. I want to earn it.
No veto bags for either of you? Who's got a...
Yeah.
You got one, Jessica?
I do. Actually, my husband won it on a live stream with HVAC Uncensored.
Okay. Gil, yeah.
Yeah, I got a TP4.
Nice.
And I love it, except for now I want another one.
Yeah, like potato chips. You have one veto, you want another one.
Yeah.
And down below, do you have a branded tool bag?
No, my tool bag's a DeWalt. It's like a bucket style tool bag, and it's easy for me to work out of and keep things organized. Yeah.
Well, since I don't work on oil, does your tools get dirtier than normal?
They do. They get very dirty, and if you don't clean them regularly, your hands get kind of sooty and dirty, and you have to constantly keep cleaning your hands. I use gloves, but your tools get dirty.
Now, do you guys use lotion or you guys got man hands?
People have told me both. I don't know.
Let's see them. Come on, Jessica. Let's see.
Oh, they're not terrible right now, but
okay.
I find if I wear the good thick gloves working, my hands are usually fine. If I get the cheap gloves at the supply shop because they're out of the good thick gloves, then they end up getting busted up a little bit more. So
would you say the HVAC career working in the field is, how do I say this? You probably can't do that with manicured nails, could you?
You could try. It won't last that long, I don't think.
no.
You'd just be wasting money to have them done.
Now, do you guys wear work boots or like maybe like a tennis shoe or?
Steel-toed boots.
I wear tennis shoes.
Yeah, I always
Actually,
did.
my current boots are pink, and they are steel-toed. And I got a lot of crap at the supply shop when I first got them.
They're pink.
They are pink. Well, now they're kind of blackish pink, but they're pink. Let me take one off. I'm still wearing them.
Now, did you have to pay extra for the pink or?
No, I found them online. My first pair of boots were Red Wings, and they fell apart after a year.
That
So I
oil
ended up
pretty
in
bad on them.
cheap,
Look at
cheap boots. And yeah, my cheap boots last me just as long as my Red Wings did. So
yeah.
I
Sound
found a pair of pink ones.
you're learning. Yeah, like I figure I get about a year and a half out of a boot, whether it's $100 or $250.
Mm,
So either one of you can answer first. What about the HVAC career? Let's do it backwards. What's the worst thing you hate about the HVAC career?
The weather.
for
Today-
me, probably unpredictable hours.
So it's not like a regular 9 to 5 job for you guys.
And sometimes I don't mind, but I'm a single mom with 2 kids. So I have them pretty much 24/7. And it can be tricky juggling sometimes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, we don't want to share that because there might be someone watching this that says, "I'm a single mom and I can't do it." So you're going to ruin that stereotype.
My bad.
So raising children and being an HVAC tech is possible. Is
It
what
is.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I'm not a mom and I have never been a mom. Probably, and probably never going to happen. But women tend to have a little bit more responsibility when it comes to children, and so I'm trying to do the best I can just to do HVAC on my own, let alone raising kids. Is there anything that you've learned about being a single mom in this trade that you could share that might help someone if they're considering it?
Develop a good support system. Have reliable babysitters. You're going to have to pay for sitters sometimes. If you're going to work a part of HVAC when you're on call, you need to be able to have someone that's essentially on call with you to watch your kids. And you're going to have to pay people usually for that.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's in school tonight. She's studying to get her associates in HVAC. And we've got the grandson here just to kind of help her out. And he's almost 4 months, like in a week. But, she really wants to get her associates, and I'm not going to stop her. So if that's what it takes, plus we get to see the grandkids. So I understand. Okay. So since I did that backwards, what's the number one thing you like about the trade? And Jessica, if you want to start that off. Jessica? She freeze?
I think she's frozen.
She froze.
It doesn't look like she's breathing. Pretty sure she's frozen.
Okay. Well, maybe you could answer that then. Yeah, it looks like she dropped off. Sorry about that.
Oh, I just got close up.
Well, she should be jumping back in. So what's the number one thing that you like?
I love the challenge of it, and that every day can be different. It's always evolving, and there's always more to learn. I don't get bored. I like that.
What's the number one thing you like to work on?
Oil. I love working on oil. I'm weird, but it's what I started with. It's what my strongest suit is, and I love working with oil.
So you know how to change an orifice and all that stuff then, or?
Orifice or a nozzle?
See, I don't know anything about oil.
Oil heat uses nozzles. Orifices is in gas. But yes, I know how to change an orifice as well.
Okay. Now, do you do here? Let me switch that up. Yeah, sorry about that. Perfect. I like that better. How's that? I was tired of being the big guy on this. She was just saying, I asked her if she knew how to change an orifice, and she corrected me and said it was a nozzle on oil. So, but shame on
We
me.
were talking about oil heat, and he said, "So you know how to change an orifice?"
I've never seen an oil burner.
The question, Jessica, was what's the number one thing you like about the trade? Well, it looks like she might have froze again.
Froze again. Oh no.
You there?
Yeah, apparently I'm having some internet issues. I think I got 3 people trying to use the same internet right now.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you heard the question. I was just saying, what's the number one thing about HVAC that you enjoy?
People. I find it extremely rewarding to be able to go into somebody's house, even though I'm not a service tech yet. I can go through their system, make sure it's running properly, and they understand it more when I'm done.
Hmm.
Do either of you get tips like from satisfied
Mhm.
customers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
And plenty of customer requests. My first call this morning was a client that just switched over from another company. And after I got done with everything, it was a routine maintenance. She goes, "Are we allowed to request people? Can I request you next time?" Yeah, you can request.
Same thing with you, Jessica?
Oh, yeah. I've got quite a few, even in this short time, that are my only I go there.
Mm.
So,
Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a hypothetical because it made me think of something. I used to be a business owner, and I understood the value of women in the trade. Ron Smith from HVAC Spells Well kind of said that in his book that, men or people in the business need to kind of think outside the box and realize that there's a place for women in the business. And the question would be is, what, for an owner that's never hired a female, and you're telling me customers are requesting you, when you're in business, you want good, happy, satisfied customers. What would you tell them, and like how you could grow their business? And like, let's say you both lost your job. Do you think you'd have trouble finding another one?
No.
I might, just because there's not a lot of companies that only hire for maintenance.
Okay, yeah, I could get that. So
Yeah.
But I've got my foot in the door. I've got knowledge, so there's no reason why I couldn't go out, do apprentice.
do you think more owners should consider hiring women in the trade, in your opinion?
If they apply, yeah.
I mean, if they apply,
I
I
mean,
mean, obviously the person that's applying for the job is going to have to be willing to do the work. I'm not
right.
saying that, but just a question. I didn't know if there was something you would. I mean, because you both seem like bright young women that are doing a great job out there in the HVAC industry. Here's another question. What is your favorite service call or maintenance visit? Do you either you have one?
Like a personal experience or just like a certain kind of call?
Like a more mechanical or whatever, however you interpret that question, I guess. It's open.
And I honestly, I love my maintenance calls. Most people don't like being sent out on tune-ups, and oil tune-ups can last from about an hour to 2 hours, depending on how dirty the unit is, because you're vacuuming the soot out, you're changing all the different elements that go through the oil
The orifices.
filtration.
Changing out the services.
You're changing the nozzle, the oil filter, pump strainer, you're checking pump pressure, you're checking the transformer spark or however you want to check it. You're
Whoa.
vacuuming everything, vacuuming the soot. They can be lengthy, and I really like making sure a unit's working properly and up to snuff and as efficient as it can be for the customer, and just having a happy customer at the end of everything. And those calls in the middle of the night when people don't have heat and you go out and save them, those are great too. But I enjoy doing maintenance calls and just getting everything good.
My company allows me to go with my husband when he's on call. So I've done some service calls with him. And those are my favorite because we are a really great team. A lot of times we can communicate without words, and I'm running to the truck. I already know what he needs. I bring it out. So get it done.
Yeah, that's nice that you get to do that. Okay. Do either of you do any installations?
Never.
No, the only kind of installation I've done is oil and propane tanks, not actual equipment. I've installed oil tanks and ran lines, and installed propane tanks and ran lines and regulators and all that.
Do you know how to set pressures? Use a manometer?
I do.
Do you have a favorite manometer?
Not really. When I was first trained for installing propane tanks, we were supplied with Rigo manometers, and they were finicky, but that's what I was supposed to use. So.
Okay. What type of electrical meters do you have? Do you have
I have
one,
a
Jessica, yet? Or you probably
Oh,
have
of
one.
course. I have a field piece. And I don't know which one.
I couldn't tell
Yeah,
you
you're
which one
probably
it
got
is.
like
I have a Milwaukee.
An H36, perhaps? My husband would know.
it works, right?
It worked.
Now, do you prefer channel locks or Knipex or Knipex or whatever they call them? Do you know the difference? You ever heard them? They're like the new latest and greatest.
I've got channel locks.
I use channel locks. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a channel lock person too. I'm not going to buy those fancy ones either. So, here's a question. Do either of you have any personal goals that you're hoping to achieve, let's say in the next couple of years in the HVAC industry?
I am actually strongly considering going back to school to get more technical knowledge so that I can get into the service side.
That's a good goal.
And ultimately, for me, my next step is my journeyman's, which I am planning on having within a year, hopefully. And then once I'm able to get my master's, go for my master's. And ultimately, I would like to own my own company.
Wow.
And potentially even open my own oil company if I'm able to do it years down the road. But I think, at least in my area, oil has become monopolized by big companies that tend to look at customers as numbers. And I would like to bring more of a family-friendly approach back to it.
Nice.
That's a great goal. That's a great goal.
Yeah.
A lot of people never set goals and they never hit them. That's fantastic. Good luck with that. Now, you work on oil, but what do you do in the summer?
HVAC. And we do everything where I work. We do oil furnaces, gas furnaces, boilers, ACs,
Hired.
heat pumps.
If I was
We
in business, I'd
do
hire you.
fireplaces. We do.
Fireplaces? Come on.
Yeah, we do fireplaces. And gas fireplaces, not like wood burning, but yeah.
Okay.
Water heaters.
Now,
We do
here's a
all
big
that.
question. Do you guys learn a lot of stuff from YouTube?
I haven't really taken in that resource yet. Most of what I've learned has come from either individual classes, reading up, or other service techs.
And Jessica's got her husband.
I have my husband, but I watch a lot of videos. I've watched quite a few of your videos. I've watched Zach Ciota. I listen to Brian Orr's podcast all the time.
Jessica, who on the top of your head? So I know I'm a smaller channel, and I wouldn't expect it to be me, but who? If I said you were going to go watch a video on YouTube and it had to be HVAC related, who would you try and find? I mean, who would be the guy you like?
It's going to be HVAC School with Brian Orr.
Okay.
And he's just down the road. I was so upset that I couldn't go to the symposium this year.
No. Here's another question. Do you guys have any trouble with working around some of the men in the industry? And if so, what were one thing you wish wouldn't happen? Or is there, I guess I'll let you answer that. If there's a way, if it's even an issue.
Who first?
Oh, I haven't had an issue, and I might be a little lucky because my husband and I work for the same company. So the guys there have always treated me really good. I've only had one issue with a customer. He used to be a contractor, said the system was running fine, no problems. I have a 7-degree temp split, and I'm like, something's not right. I walk out to the outdoor unit, it's not running. Somehow magically the disconnect was pulled and put back in upside down, but he didn't do it. Funny how that works.
He didn't touch it.
It was working fine with no condenser running.
Yeah, I had one of those the other day. I get there, and as soon as I showed up, and this is a big industrial customer. They make nitrogen, CO2. They're everywhere across the globe. So I get there, and all of a sudden, as soon as I get to the building, the unit's working. And it has a special control. It's an AON unit, and it does like a control room and a server room unit. And and it wasn't economizing, it was cold here in Chicago. So they're not going to turn on mechanical cooling because it's just too cold to run the compressors. I mean, obviously you could if it was set up for it, but this isn't. So the only thing I could think of is that third shift came in, and they have like a techie guy who was able to kind of like override this control system. It's like a thermostat on steroids. And I think he overrode the thermostat in the control room, but didn't realize it was taking out the server room down below, and it overheated because there was no errors on the unit. So, those are good service calls when you just flip the disconnect on, and then you're kind of smiling and happy because you're charging the customer. And well, I mean, in residential you are anyway, but not in industrial. But it's like, I like an easy service call.
But that wasn't a service call. That was a maintenance.
There for maintenance.
Yeah.
That was I have to test out this girl to see if she really knows what she's doing.
Oh, is that what that? See, it flew right over my head. See, this guy is kind of dumb. You were like, I'm not getting it. He's not understanding. Like, I'm talking about stuff, and you guys talking code. That's like that woman code thing, right?
Must be.
Yeah. I haven't had any issues with any of the guys I work with firsthand per se. When I first started, I had already been in the office. A lot of guys knew me already. And when I changed companies, the company I went to, my old service manager actually was the service supervisor there. And like 7 of us service technicians had transferred companies. So I still had a lot of my family that I had at the old company. I had no issues with them, no issues with the new guys. And one, my dad, the rest of them are like my brothers. I get on my nerves from time to time, but we're fine. It's the other branches that had to get used to there being a female around. And I didn't see them all the time, but if I had to go get a part, I would occasionally get a text message like, "Oh, hey, I saw you at the shop." And it'd kind of like go from there until I was like, "Stop." And most of them respected that. But it was, they're feeling out how far they could go. And at the supply shop, you get people there that kind of look at you funny, and then people that will talk with you. There's one guy at my local supply shop that always says he's divorcing his wife and we're getting married. He's an old guy. I love him. He's hilarious. But as far as in the field, I really haven't had many problems. And the guys are pretty good about listening if they do overstep their bounds. It's been more, I've had a few customers here and there that have been a little bit too much, to say the least. But yeah.
All in all, would you say it's an okay environment for a woman to work in?
I think so, as long as you have a good support system, like with everything else. As long as your supervisor is going to be there for you if something happens and you tell them. You have to find a good company and a good fit.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is a good company.
Did you guys, when you were, younger, did you ever imagine that this was where it was going to be?
No. I mean, I was homeschooled when I was younger, and we did a lot of things hands-on and not sitting around, which I think is kind of what led me into being better in the field and not sitting around. But I didn't even know that we had oil heat when I was growing up. Until my mom asked me about oil prices one time when I was working in the office. I had no idea their house was oil heated.
Would you recommend that other girls consider getting in the trade?
I would, as long as you like working with your hands and being active. Why not?
I think it's like any other job.
Is the pay okay? I mean, we don't need to get specific, but I mean,
yeah. I do.
Like
decent.
on maintenance, we're bottom of the barrel.
Well, it's a starting position, but now do people that can work on oil make more money?
Probably not. I mean, I think it depends on where you're located. If I lived a little bit further north, maybe places that have a lot more oil out there, and Maryland, which is where I'm at, has a good amount of it, but there's a lot more generic HVAC companies and a lot less oil than other products.
Now, we're getting close to almost like 35 minutes. And I don't want to keep you guys too long. I really appreciate the information you guys have shared. It really has kind of made me think about some different things. And, I always think that, there's a way for, women to enter the trade, whether it's a technician, a maintenance person. You could work as a salesperson, like for an HVAC company. You can even work in obviously there's office work available. Maybe you could be a shop person potentially, stuff like that. What are some of the things that you would tell maybe another woman considering this for a trade besides, obviously like working for your hands, but with your hands or something like that? But is there any one thing that you would want to like if you had a girlfriend that was considering it, that you would tell them about the trade?
Mm. Oh.
Go for it.
Yeah, you got to try, right?
And if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever tried anything and you didn't like it? I mean, in your life in general.
From time to time.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really appreciate this. I can't express how grateful I am that you guys took the time out of your busy days, and with all the commitments to kind of share this. With your permission, I think this went pretty well. So I'd like to go ahead and like publish this on my channel. I mean, you guys don't have any issues, do you? Like,
I mean, as long as once it hits 1 million views, we get our cut. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I hear you. I mean, this isn't about the money, but I hope it does. And if it does, I'd be more than happy to share that with you guys, because you guys have taken your time out of your busy days to share a little bit about what it's like for a woman in the trade. So I'm going to go ahead and end this now. If you guys want to stay on, we could kind of talk afterwards. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
thanks.